as John Maxwell said, if we're all growing, we're always going to be out of our comfort zone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Holden Foley. I had a chance to see Mr. Maxwell speak this past summer at a National Leadership Conference in Atlanta, and that quote just stuck with me. It seems like it pretty much summed up the last 3 years of my life. Since I started working with the Conservation Corps in Forgotten Coast almost 3 years ago, it's been a balance of sharing my knowledge and experience with the group and being uncomfortable. Pushing myself to learn new things, new approaches, and expanding my opportunities, I've become more comfortable with being uncomfortable. Although I'm nervous, I'm really happy and humbled to be here accepting this honor. I would like to thank the Corps Network and my crew back home for all the hard work, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. You are all helping me explore my uncomfortable zone. So a little about where I came from. I grew up in Franklin County, Florida. We are a small rural area in North Florida. About 87% of our county is protected lands, mostly national forests, state forests, and national estuarine reserves. About 11,000 people live in the 340,000 acres, making it one of Florida's largest counties, but least populated. We have one red light, if that kind of narrows it down. So, I would like to think I was a normal kid, but my childhood was not perfect. My parents were separated. I lived with my dad. He was really strict. We didn't spend a whole lot of time together. I spent most of my time doing chores or helping my grandpa in his garden. And that's where I learned to love working outside and building things. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere or play with other kids or have a normal childhood, period. I worked. I started tonguing oysters in Apalachicola Bay when I was 9 years old to help my dad pay bills. Times were rough. My last year of junior high, I started playing football, and that's where I started learning about leadership and teamwork. I started as wide receiver and defensive end. I was team captain that year and helped lead my teammates through the first winning season in our school's history. That's a pretty big deal in our county. As good as sports were for me, my dad didn't support it. He expected me to work. And that's when things started to change. At 16, I moved in with my mother. I continued to play sports and doing construction work. Life was going great. The only problem was there was nothing, and there's still nothing for teenagers to do in their free time. So we would just hang out, and that's where my challenges started. Between the ages of 16 and 18, I worked hard, and the money I made went towards my truck, but it also went towards alcohol and marijuana. I didn't make many good decisions. I got into trouble doing what kids do, and the moment I turned 18, it caught up with me. I got into trouble with the law. And other than my mom and my stepdad, I really didn't have anybody else looking out for me. And I know now I should have listened to them. So there I was, 18, in jail with a bunch of characters, alcoholics and druggies mostly. But this was probably the most uncomfortable I had ever been. But I learned from it. I learned to stand up for myself. I learned to make things happen for myself. And most importantly, I learned I wanted my life to be different, to be better. When I finished my time, I went back to work, because work was what I knew. I was determined to be successful. I just didn't have a clear path. So during my probation, I worked in the construction field, building houses, decks, doing odd and end jobs. And I finally just got tired of putting in 7 days a week and getting nowhere. I made good money, but I just wanted something more. I wanted my work to have more of a meaning. And that was when I met Joe Taylor. He offered me the opportunity to participate in a pilot project for the Conservation Corps. I accepted his offer, and that's when my life really started to change. The Corps wasn't like anything I'd ever done. We worked Monday through Thursday in the field. On Fridays, we learned soft skills like anger management techniques, budgeting, and healthy coping skills. We also went to county and city commissioners where Joe would encourage us to stand up and voice our opinion. This was when I really started stepping out of my comfort zone. I never saw myself as much of a leader, just another crew member. But Joe seen something different, and he asked me to be a crew leader for the next project, and I was curious as to where it would lead me, so I accepted his offer. Life was getting better, but it still wasn't perfect. At the time, my wife and I had to move out of the house we were in and found ourselves homeless because there was nowhere affordable to rent. We looked for over a year but never found anything, and our situation wasn't unique. Most of our crew were homeless also. In one of our community assessments, I remember my wife saying how important it is to have a safe place to lay your head, and how can anyone focus on education or training without a home. So now, working on affordable housing is one of my priorities. My thoughts about construction began to include what was happening to our crew members in our larger community. During that time, opportunities started to pour in. We had the chance to visit our partners from CDC Climb, Conservation Corps, and were exposed to their construction program. We also learned about the National Center of Construction, Education and Research, or NCCER. Before I knew it, I was trained to be an NCCER instructor. We had an agreement to work with affordable housing with the City of Apalachicola. I was signed up for classes to get my building contractor's license. And it became clear that I wanted to go back to school and learn to design affordable housing to the green standards. I kept going to trainings, stacking my credentials and certifications. At the same time, I became more involved in our disaster response programs, and our Emergency Operations Center certified me to teach first aid and CPR. I became the leader for our CERT programs. One of my favorite experiences was our team's response to Hurricane Matthew in Flagler County, where we cleared trees off of senior citizens' houses. I enjoyed the work and enjoyed helping the seniors and the bond that it formed within our crew. I also joined the volunteer fire department. Although it is hard work, it has a meaning, and I'm helping people. Being involved with our community has expanded my support group and opened new opportunities for me. I stay committed to the Corps because I see how young people, many of them just like me, can benefit from this program. It's a chance to learn new skills, gain hands-on experience, and have a support system that can help them succeed and not be held down by their past. I want the youth to realize that being uncomfortable is a very necessary part of life, and the Corps helps you realize that. So now, being in the uncomfortable zone is exhilarating. It's where things happen for me, and it's where I learn how to pass it on to my crews. It's not easy. Some days I would love to settle for being comfortable, but I push myself because I know that more opportunities will surface and that possibilities will become realities. Thank you.